can see all these plants coming up, and they're just now getting what's called a true leaf on some of them. So like this one, you can see that bigger leaf is called the first true leaf. And what we're waiting for, I'm getting a little dry actually. Moisture's about an inch or so down, but these alfalfa plants, let me grab my shovel and we'll show you. So it's been 7 days since we've had any water on this, and see the nice green rows. So we're just going to sacrifice a little bit here to show you. So you can see the moisture is about here, okay, about an inch down. Now once you get into that lower inch, it's nice and wet. You know, it makes a ball, it's sticky. And so what I wanted to show you, these plants are only, you know, they're only 10 days old, but their roots are right on the edge of that moisture, and even deeper, if you can see. So they're actually growing into that moisture as we speak. Now it's been hot, it's been dry. There we go, that's what I wanted to show you. So you can see how much of a root system those have already. Okay, they're way down in there. I mean, they're barely out of the ground, and they've got, you know, 2-inch roots at least, and they're growing every day. So alfalfa is really resilient. It's very drought tolerant. Even when it's this small, it's not using any moisture. So what we like to do is let it grow at least, 10 days, 12 days to try and get that alfalfa down into the moisture. Some people will go 3 weeks after so we irrigate it once, and then we irrigate it again within about 4 days, 5 days, just to soften up the crust on the soil surface, and that helps to break up any crusting and allows those little seedlings to pop through. This farm is about 80 acres. There's 73 point something that is water righted. So where we live in Nevada, you have to have water rights in order to irrigate. Where we live, it's all surface rights. Other places have underground water rights. So we do have a bit of both, but you can see the rows just driving along. You can see the green lines down the field. So I'm really happy with how this turned out so far. You know, it is a bit dry, but we do have, you know, where I dug is about as sandy as it gets, and it's also where there's the least amount of residue. So a lot of this residue is helping to trap moisture, hold moisture for, you know, just protecting the soil from the sun. Now this bare spot, we call this alkali here. So this is an alkali spot, and we tried something a little different. We had cows here in the winter, and so what we did is, before the cows came, we spread a bunch of straw on the field. And then when the cows came here, they ate it, they peed on it, they pooped on it, they bedded down in it, they slept in it, they stomped it in. So it's just a little experiment just to see. I had read online that there was some studies. I didn't go that in depth, but there was a few studies as far as straw incorporation helping to lower pH and improve salt levels in soils. And you can see there are plants in spots. It's not everywhere, but this didn't grow anything at all. I mean, it didn't even grow weeds before. So, you know, it's the biggest thing with the salt is it crusts up really bad, and it dries out fast on top, but then it's soaked underneath, and you know. But I am, you know, kind of pleasantly surprised to see some plants, and especially, you know, where around the edges where it's not as salty, there's a pretty good amount of plants. There's a few weeds out here. I did spray with Roundup pre-plant, but I went pretty light on the rate just because I didn't want to kill our nurse crop like the day I sprayed it. I wanted it to still be around for a little while, and so I maybe should have gone a little bit higher rate, but that's going to be okay. We're going to spray it again. We'll clean up most of these weeds. There's a little swarm of bees just flew by me. We work with a local, I don't know if he's local, I think he's from California, but he brings bees every year. He puts a bunch of hives on the farm, and he just trades us honey for the space. They pollinate all the orchards in California with bees, and then in the summertime they need places to go with them, and so they come here, and so we get free honey and we get bees, which are a great thing, I think. And yeah, so that's kind of how it works. So you can see there's a lot of residue down here, just corn stalks and whatever else, but you know, the alfalfa's there underneath it, and it's actually where there's residue, there's a lot more soil moisture. So, and the alfalfa, it just grows a little taller to get past that residue. Now, it can be a problem when we irrigate again. Sometimes that residue will kind of float up. It'll move. It'll set back down on a new spot, and that can smother the plants. But yeah, so I mean, here and there I see some skips, you know, low spots and whatnot, but you really only need, you know, 40 to 50 plants per square foot starting out. So that's basically going to be, you know, 3 rows, right? Because they're 6-inch spacing. So from here to here is a foot. And so if you start counting, if we say, you know, here's a foot, this is just rough, but 3 rows and a foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I guess that one, 20. There's 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43. So just in 2 rows, we already have 43. So you know, it depends how you do that math, right? Because it's a foot from here to here, but it's also a foot from here to here. So two and a half rows, I guess, technically would be a square foot. They make little hoops you throw out. They're 1 square foot little frisbee deal, and they got 1 square foot on the inner diameter, and you just toss it out and you count, and then you go toss it somewhere else and you count. But you know, typically you can just look down and you can tell if it's good or not. It's going to fill in a lot. We won't actually, it's pretty windy, hopefully you can hear. We won't harvest this until close to the 1st of August. End of July, 1st of August. So I'll probably water it one more time. When we water it, it'll explode. It'll gain a bunch of growth. It'll get what is called trifoliates. So when we hit 2 trifoliates, then I'll come in with an application of herbicide, and I'll spray. That herbicide will have, and there's all kinds of weeds. We tend to plant in the fall because the weed pressure is a lot lower. So right now we have lamb's quarters. This is red root pigweed. This is prickly lettuce, which is actually a biennial, but apparently it was cool enough that it came in the summer. This is called fall panic grass. We have volunteer corn. We've got fillory, mallow. I think that's a little baby kochia plant. And there's bigger kochia plants out here that I saw. There's a kochia plant. And here's fillory that didn't die at all. So the herbicide we'll spray will have a couple different broadleaf killers. One of the broadleaf killers will also kill quite a few of these grasses, and then we'll also put a dedicated grass killer in with that spray, and then we'll have some fertilizer, some adjuvants, just to try and get some of these weeds under control, kind of let the crop release. Yeah, so it just had a little trouble. This lamb's quarter didn't die. I don't know if the rate just was too low. At first glance, I thought the wheat was still alive from a distance, but then when you actually walk out here, it's mostly broadleaves. So I don't know if it's a little bit Roundup resistant. It's possible. I think more likely it's just too low of a rate. But the wind's not even blowing hard right now, but the wind blows really hard here pretty frequently. And these fields will just take off. There'll be nothing left. And so I'll take a few extra weeds if it means that we can get better establishment and we can get the weeds under control. And the first time we cut it, it might have a few extra weeds, but we've got a lot of outlets for feed here. So we've got local guys with beef cows, we have dairymen, we've got our own livestock. It can go to California, it can go for export. So depending on the quality of the hay, depending on the person buying it, you know, maybe it's got some weeds and we'll sell it for a little less money just to get rid of it, get the field cleaned up, and then we'll start over. So that's probably the plan for now. But like I said, we'll check back in on this in a couple days. We're gonna irrigate hopefully 2-3 days from now, just to give it a little pop. It's been a little hot. I don't see any moisture stress out of it, and right now it's dry, but every morning we get a pretty good dew, and you can come out in the morning and there'll be actual water droplets on all these plants, and they really make use of it. So even though they might look a little parched by the end of the day, come morning, they cool off. The soil actually has a lot of capillary action. It'll pull moisture back up. And you can see quite a few plants here in this alkali spot I was talking about. It'll actually pull moisture back up in the profile as the air temperature cools off. You can see all the deer tracks. There's a lot of deer here. There's a lot of different things to learn and know, and I just want to share some of what I know, I guess, with everybody. Even if I don't know a lot, but I know some, and I'm learning all the time too. And yeah, so we'll see you next time.